Today I wanted to do a Q&A video because I've never done one before and I've really wanted to, so today's the day. I'm going to jump straight into it because I think this is going to be a pretty long video as it is. So get your cup of tea, I've got mine, and let's crack on with the questions. So the first question by Brittany Shapley is, what is your best advice to artists who are still trying to develop their own personal style? I would definitely say just to keep making work. I mean, I still feel like I'm working on my own style, so I don't really feel like I'm the right person to ask this question even, but hopefully other people see differently. But I have probably painted about 3,000 paintings or something like that. So I think you just have to keep trying, and don't, I think one of the things I would definitely say is not to try and like copy other people. So you can use their work for inspiration, but if you're just going to copy somebody else, then you're just using their style. So I think the best way to find your own style is to try brand new things that you've never seen before, or maybe try and use inspiration from different artists to combine one idea that you really like. Okay, the next one is, do you have any tips for starting an art career? This is by Alexis Paints. I got mine started just by posting on Instagram, and then I started posting on Facebook and that kind of thing. Then I opened an Etsy shop, and it kind of just grew from there, because the more stuff that you put online, the more people are going to respond to it. If you're just sat in a room at home and not sharing your work with anybody, no one's going to actually see it, so no one can buy it. But if you actually want to get started, you just have to get your work out there as much as possible, whether that's galleries, online, anything like that. Just keep producing work and keep showing people, and eventually you'll get there. Love your new hair, thank you. By Emily Scott, how do you get your acrylics to blend so well? I feel like when I use acrylics, they dry so quickly. I don't have enough time to blend them or fiddle with them before it's too late. I feel like that's a really good question, because I had that same problem when I first started using acrylics. I would probably suggest just A, working quicker, B, don't bother blending and just go for more of an abstract piece. I don't really feel like I actually blend my acrylics that much. I kind of just feel like a lot of them are just strokes, and it kind of just blends naturally because you've got different colour in the strokes. But maybe try using a little bit more water, because if you're just using it straight from the tube, it can dry super quickly. But if you just add a little bit more water to it, it just tends to keep them going a little bit more. You can also buy what they call a medium. If you Google acrylic mediums, and then I think it's called a fluid retarder. Yeah, if you Google fluid retarder, basically it's like a little fluid that you add to the acrylic paint that makes it last longer. It basically behaves a bit more like an oil, it takes a really long time to dry if you add too much, so don't go too far with it. So Shopgirl777 says, what tips do you have for someone that wants to set up an Etsy store? I would just say crack on with it. I know that's really rubbish advice. I would definitely say look into SEO, and I think Etsy actually have a forum and a blog and help sheet with all the different tips on to help you with the SEO side of it. That's just in your title. Basically your title and your description box want to have the words that you think people will search for to get your item. So if it was a painting of a rose, you'd put rose painting and then the dimensions and all that kind of stuff. That's the SEO side of it. But other than that, I think Etsy, you need quite a few items to put on initially. If you've got 2 or 3 items to put on, it's not going to do that well because it doesn't really look like a full-on shop. It's kind of like if you went to a shop in real life in town and it had 3 things in it, you'd be a bit, ooh, they're obviously a bit new at this, is it a bit risky? So I'll definitely say fill up your shop with stuff, take great photographs, and yeah, I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be great. And you'll learn as you go. I'm still learning as well. Floral Constellation says, what are ways painters can make an income as a full-time artist besides selling paintings? I love art, but I'm scared to go at it full-time as I don't feel like it will generate any steady income. Also, I'm just getting started and don't think my work is good enough to sell yet. That's a really interesting question actually, because it sounds like you've got your head screwed on basically, because the fact is that doing art full-time doesn't generate a steady income, and that's the bottom line. Like, no matter how much work you sell, it's never going to be like a steady income, because it's just one of those things that people don't really need to live. It's more like a luxury item. You could go down the road of tutorials, being a teacher of art, but if you are thinking that your work's not good enough to sell yet, I would just focus on keep creating work, keep like focusing on trying to get better, and then when you feel like that you're at that stage, try and sell your work, and if it's working out, then take the plunge to do it full time. It's not really a job that you can count on to bring in a steady income every month. So if you don't feel like it's gonna, then I would wait until that changes. Lena Dania says, how do you balance your personal life with focusing on art? I think that's a really good question, and like it's very different to all the other questions. It is a struggle, especially when I was first started, because I felt like I was literally working all day. So I'd paint, and then like I'd paint for like so many hours in the day, and I'd spend the rest of the day doing like marketing and like doing Instagram and taking pictures and that kind of thing. And it is difficult because I felt like I was working just like full stop all the time, and my husband did keep saying like, okay, you really need to stop talking about art now, because I was just talking about it literally all the time. But thankfully my husband, he actually like really supports me doing this and thinks it's really healthy for me as a person. So I suppose that really helps that he's supportive, because he doesn't mind it too much. Try and bear in mind what's important, because sometimes I'll be so wrapped up in like, oh, like, you know, I don't know, no one's liking this photo on Instagram or something stupid like that. And then you like switch on the news and it's just like, you know what, that actually doesn't matter compared to things in real life. So, but yeah, I like that question. I don't really feel like I've answered it very well, but the answer is I probably don't. Because there's no such like schedule like 9 to 5 like an office job, I'll just go out, have fun, and then like do the work when I get home. I am quite inclined to be like a bit of a recluse and keep myself to myself, which isn't like very healthy. So I would definitely say put your personal life first, because at the end of the day that's more important, you know, friends and family and stuff like that. And Kate Jerry said, I just have to say that, oh, thanks Kate Jerry. Oh, I didn't know how to say that. NXI Quay. How do you create your own style of painting? That was one that was answered further up, so I hope that answers that question as well. Graceful Art 23. How do you motivate yourself to start a painting? It's a bit daunting starting, and I'm always afraid I'll mess up and waste my supplies. I'd say that the thing that gets me motivated is I have to look at like art that I find inspiring. So whether that's Pinterest, just Instagram, and look at all like the artists that are really inspiring right now, and then seeing them like working and seeing their work, that like literally I just feel like a boot like kicking me up the bum. It's like, oh, I want to do it, and I get excited. And I understand when you say like, I'm afraid I'll waste my supplies, because I used to be really bad at that. I used to be really stingy, but the answer is that actually being so worried about your supplies can actually make your art a lot worse, because you're not using like what you think you should be using or something like that. So what I would say, instead of using expensive supplies and scared of wasting them, I'd say just buy like really cheap supplies and then just use them to your heart's content, because it will make better art than if you use expensive ones and be stingy. I hope that helps. Raw said, have you tried digital painting? If you have, then did you like it? If not, why not? I have never tried digital painting. The reason why I haven't tried it yet is I really love like texture, and you know when you like look at a painting and you can see all the brush marks and the thick paint, and I suppose in digital painting it looks a bit like smooth, I think is the word, but I do really want to try it one day, so I might get the app now and have a little go. Sorry if I'm rushing a little bit as well, I want to get them all answered. Okay, so Matty X says, how do you go about starting a new art project, as in where do you find inspiration and how do you develop it? I don't actually know it's going to be a new project until I've already halfway through it or finished a piece, because I never know whether it's actually going to work or not. So I'll have an idea that I'll just, where do you find inspiration? I'll probably find inspiration on Pinterest or Instagram, and then when I've got this like idea, and sometimes the inspiration for something comes like as I'm actually doing it, and then I develop it. I just keep going until, I don't know, it's a really difficult question that is. I feel like it kind of just comes naturally with the development of a project. I mean, with like my, the sea ones behind me, I literally, one night I'll just put Netflix on and just chilled with a glass of wine. I was like, I'm gonna try like doing thick paint and then like dribbling white paint on the top and see what it looks like. And then I tried it and I really loved it. So then that was it. I've created like piece after piece after that. So I don't know, that's a bit of a difficult one to answer. So Native26 says, did you start doing art full-time straight away, or did you start doing other things like studying and stuff? So at the time when I was doing art, I was doing a bit of freelance graphic design, so I still did have some income coming in, so it wasn't like I was doing nothing, like not earning anything and then went in straight away. But I mean, it depends what you describe as doing art full-time. Because I loved it, I suppose I was doing it full-time, but not earning a full-time wage from it, you know, so it takes a while to build up these things. So if you want to do art full-time, I suggest you start as soon as possible, just creating and putting it online. And it can be difficult to balance it with other work, but if it's what you really want to do, then it will be worth that like extra push. I'm sorry if I don't say this right, Wei Shan 098. How do you continue being motivated throughout all your paintings? The truth is, probably, I'm not motivated throughout all my paintings. I wish I was, but sometimes if I don't feel motivated anymore by a piece, I'll just leave it or paint over it, because I think life's too short to be painting things you don't want to paint. Don't know whether that's the right answer or not. But I only paint if I'm motivated, so I know that doesn't work for everybody, but I'm motivated quite a lot, so that's not a problem. In Sherwood, so do you have any tips on packaging your artworks when you sell them? Yes, I do. I've actually made a YouTube video on this already, so I'll pop the link in this frame somewhere, and I'll pop the link in the description box for you, because I think you'll find it quite useful. So yeah, hope that helps. Hamid Koser, I'm sorry if I didn't say that right. How did you start an art career? Was it difficult in the start? Yeah, it was difficult, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's only probably the past year where it's actually started being an art career, you know. Before that it was kind of like bits and bobs coming in. But I'd say all I did was just make work and put it online, make work and put it online. Best way is social media, because it's free, so Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, even YouTube if you fancy making videos. So yeah, just get it out into the world and people will respond. And I remember I got the first question like, oh, how do you buy your pieces? And I was like, oh, someone wants to buy a piece, and it was so exciting, like it was the best time ever. So yeah. L Stewart Images says, what range of sizes do you tend to use for brushes? So that's the first question. So, just literally quite a big range of different sizes. I love my big brushes. I mean, where are they? This is like a really cool brush. This is a Bob Ross one. Oh, and the size is rubbed off. I'm so sorry. I don't know what size that one is, but that's quite a big one. Another one of my favourite sizes is the Georgian, which is Dal Arouni. This is a size 10. You can see that. It's not huge, but it's like a decent size. I don't actually really use small brushes a lot, to be honest, because I just get really bored doing detail. I like doing like more abstracty work. And then I have like these type ones, which are really good for the first few layers, just to get a lot of paint on. Where's my favourite brush gone? This one's quite nice. This is a size 12. I'll show it to you. So again, it's not very small. And then the smallest that I go is probably like about this small. Oh, that's a size 1, so that's quite small. But not diddly ones. I mean, I use tiny ones for signing, so I suppose if that counts. So then what's the next question? The next question is, do you find expensive acrylic paints much better than cheap ones? Are they worth it? Yeah, I mean, it depends. If you basically, the bottom line is, if you can afford them, then it's really nice to use. If you can't, then it doesn't matter, because you can use cheaper ones and they still are really good. It's kind of like tomato sauce that's unbranded against Heinz ketchup, or like maybe baked beans versus the branded. You know, it's kind of like, if you need that, like if you just have a love for that Heinz brand, then it's worth it. But if you, like some people, like don't mind, you know, the best thing is to do is just try some, and if you find them okay, then that's great. But if you can afford them, then it probably is worth it. Did you study art? Or are you self-taught? Oh, this kind of matches into the question below from Trish J. Did you study GCSE or A-level art at school? So I did do GCSE art at school. Not that I found that it really made a difference, if I'm honest, because the teacher didn't really like teach us anything. She kind of just says, oh, just like paint that or paint that. You know, she didn't really give us a lot of, and then if you ask for help, she'd just do it for you. So I would say self-taught. That sounds kind of bad, doesn't it? But yeah, I'd say I'm self-taught, definitely, just through practicing. So then Trish J continues with, if so, did you have a thought that art would be your career? Definitely not. I didn't think I would be that lucky that I could do it as a career. Definitely not. In fact, I remember my mum saying, when I was like 14 or whatever the age was, and I was choosing my GCSE subjects, I remember my mum saying like, oh, you can do art, but it's not, you're going to have a job in it. It was just really funny when I look back. So I'm like, actually I am. Sorry, Mum. So Lover Han says, what was your profession before you became an artist? So I was, or I am I suppose still, a graphic designer, which I really love as well. I love both because they're both very different. Olivia Grace says, favourite colours and what easel do you use? Oh, favourite colours, that's a really difficult one. Probably this one. This is Cobalt Turquoise Light in oil. That's pretty gorgeous. Kind of all the blues, if I'm honest. And then Phthalo Turquoise, that's a Michael Hardin one. That's oil as well. And Sap Green. I know that sounds really weird, but oh, they're all dirty. Sap Green, that's probably like my other favourite colour, and that's in oil as well. But you can get the same colours in acrylics or whatever. They're probably like my top 3 favourite colours, but it changes quite a lot, so the magenta is like almost there as well, almost. Easel, I think what is it? It's a Winsor & Newton. Oh, what's it called? Oh, I know this. I'm sure it's like the name of a river or something. Thames. I knew it was. Yeah, it's the Winsor & Newton Thames easel. Yeah, that's the one. It's quite a good easel. The only thing I would say is that the legs stick out a bit, and I like trip over them quite a lot. But that's just me, no one else would probably do that. Okay, a list, Old to Be Calm says, a list of the materials you use would be lovely, or any books or YouTube videos you found useful. Okay, so, right, so a list of everything I use would be quite lengthy. I think what I'll do, I think I'll write a blog post soon with everything I use, or maybe another YouTube video, because I think that would be quite a long question to answer, because the truth is I don't stick to like a few things. I like to use everything and go crazy. So I'll remember that and I'll create something very soon, whether it's a blog post or a YouTube video, and I'll let everyone know on Instagram when that's done. So I don't really use books, but as you know, I love YouTube. So I do actually have, if you look on my playlist section in my YouTube, there is a playlist that is like, I think it's called Inspiration, and that has just got like loads of cool artists, and yeah, just go wild and enjoy. Sarah Moon Sarah, hello! What type of easel? Yeah, we've done that one. The Thames. When it comes to acrylic paints, which ones would you recommend? Okay, so acrylic paints, I love Acrylic. Oh, actually, I'll tell you two. I love the Rowney Acrylic, and I love Winsor & Newton Affinity. So they're probably my favourite. What is your favourite type of watercolours? Okay, this one's easy. Mission Gold Class. They are pretty awesome. They are definitely the best ones I've ever used. So yeah, they are pretty cool. Where are we? Oh, why? Their colours are really bright, and they're just, you know, sometimes when you use watercolours and you put it on the page, you think, oh yeah, that's a nice colour, and then it dries and it's just a bit like, it's not very strong, like it looks weak. But these colours dry and they are like still super vibrant, and I love that about them. They kind of just look like they do when you put them on the page wet, which is really cool. Oh, I think my tea's going cold. Oh, this is a good question. She says, is there anything you would recommend if you are only using your phone to take pictures of your work? What can you do to make it look bright and clear? Any special apps for non-iPhone users? No apps, you don't need any apps, don't worry about apps. But I would definitely say daylight. Right, this is like a rule, okay now guys. If you are taking photos of your art, do not use light bulbs, as in like normal light bulbs that everybody uses. Do not take photos with a light bulb even on, because the reason is light bulbs are really actually quite orange, although you don't really know because like you just get used to it. They're actually quite yellow. Please, if you're taking photos of your art, only use like light outside. I mean, I remember when I used to do it with my phone, I would actually take like a white, just like a white bit of foam board or something, take that outside, put my artwork on, and then just like take them from above. Also, if you've got a HD option, that's great as well. But that should be alright, you know, just take them outside. How do you know if it's time to start an art career? When are you ready? I mean, I would say there's a lot involved before you sort of do the career part, because there's a lot of like showing your work to people, and it sort of takes up on its own, you know. It's not one of those things that you can decide when it starts, it's just whether people respond or not. So I would say just get started straight away on social media showing your work, because by the time, I mean, it takes a long time for your social media profile to build. It's not an overnight thing. So by the time it will be at a good level, you'll probably be ready, if that makes sense. So get started straight away. Tips and tricks when working with acrylics and watercolours. Ooh, wait for layers to dry before you add more. That's probably my biggest tip. Ooh, could you do some jungles? Good idea, I like the sound of that. Ooh, we're nearly done. That was quick. Okay, Isabel, oh, I don't know how to say these names. Isabelle Debutos. I really hope that's right, I'm sorry. Who do you admire? Who are your favourite YouTubers, and what makes you feel joy and empowered? I love that, girl power. Okay, so who do I admire? I admire anyone who follows their dreams and follows their hearts. That's the truth. Artist-wise, obviously Charmaine Olivia, I mean, hello, she's amazing. But those my favourite artists change quite a lot, because it just depends on the flow I'm feeling at that time, if that makes sense. Not really. Who are your favourite YouTubers? Okay, oh, this is a good one. As I was saying earlier, I do have like a playlist for inspiration, so go check that out for creators on YouTube, who painters and stuff like that. But I don't know, I suppose I get inspired again by different people all the time. I've loved Lena Dania for a really long time. Her videos are so interesting, see the process. I definitely feel like there needs to be more creators on YouTube, as in like painters and artists. And what makes you feel joy and empowered? Probably just being around my family makes me feel joy. So I've been really looking into mindfulness recently, and I've really felt quite different. I mean, that feeling does tend to go quite quickly when you just get into normal life again. But yeah, I would definitely look up mindfulness if you've not heard about it before, because I definitely feel like I've had a sense of empowerment since I've been doing it, because it makes you realise that you're in control of your life, and just to notice the things around you. So for instance, one of the exercises is to just sit and listen to all the noises that every day that you ignore, and appreciate them. So like whether it's birds or even just like city noise, or I don't know, it's just like it makes your life more rich because you're taking in more stuff, and again that's good for inspiration. So that's a really cool thing that I've learned about. Reed Chapman 95 says, how did you get into art? So I got into art, I've always been into art to be honest, like ever since I was little I would just love going to art galleries and just feel so inspired. And what inspired your interest? Art galleries. The Tate Modern was probably the first proper big gallery that I went to when I was like quite young, probably like 15 or something. I think that was like what got it started in my head, like this big snowball that just kept getting bigger and bigger until I couldn't ignore it anymore. And where did you study art, and if you didn't study, what did you do instead? So I didn't do any studying like college or uni or anything like that. What did you do instead? I just got a job. When I was 16 I got a job, got some training, learnt graphic design, and then carried on doing graphic design, and then here I am. Emily Louise Art says, what photo tips do you have? Your artwork and images, Instagram images, are always so beautiful. Oh, thank you. Would be so keen to learn a few hints and tips. So, photo tips. Okay, my first photo tip is good lighting, and yeah, so look around you, see what's around you, be aware of what's in the background, and if you've got like a big camera, I would definitely say learn the manual settings, because that's what changed mine like a lot, was when I learnt the manual settings and I got my images nice and bright and that kind of thing. So yeah, thanks for that. Crystal Colours Studio says, where do you get your love for art? Like, what's the background for it? Again, I think it's just always been there as a kid. I think what started it off again was social media, because obviously when you're not like connected, you kind of don't see like a lot of stuff in the world, whereas now I can like connect and see different artists around the world, and it just inspired me to like start doing it myself. Janelle Paint says, how can I come up with more ideas for my art series paintings? Oh, that's a good one. I would just say be a sponge, you know, soak up everything and maybe go for a walk. You'll just see something, or something will affect you in a way that you feel like you need to express it, and then maybe take some of your own pictures and just try painting them and that kind of thing. I would say it definitely comes with time, just keep creating. GMC Gregor Art says, how long has it taken you from when you first decided to sell your art to start selling your art? I'm currently at a place where I feel stuck in this area of wanting to start but never actually getting a move on from it. Love your stuff, by the way, thank you. That's a cool question, because, oh wow, your work's amazing. Oh, you guys, you should definitely check out this profile. And you're from Scotland. Hello, neighbour. Wow, your work's really incredible. Okay, can people, oh yeah, you've got a website. I would say you're doing it. You are going for it, girl. You're getting there. You just gotta have patience, just keep going, and you'll have really bad times where you just like feel like, oh, what's the point of this? It's not doing anything, but just keep going. What separates those people from selling work and not selling is when you ignore all the negativity from other people and yourself, and just you do it anyway. Wow, your website's really cool as well. Yeah, you're definitely going there. Looks like you're there, girl. It does. Alright, right. Pop some more work on your page. I would set up like a thing online so people can buy your work, because that's the only thing. The thing is that people, one thing I've learned, people don't go out of the way to buy something. So if you make it really easy for them, it will happen. So what I would do is pop a few more things of your work online and maybe create a shop, so like maybe at Big Cartel or Etsy or something like some platform that you have chosen, so, and then maybe like link it up, you know, and hopefully more people will check you out now. So yeah, one comment and then we're done. Morgan McDonald said, how do you decide what medium you're going to use? I find myself overwhelmed at times as there are so many different mediums to use and experiment with. Does it depend on your subject matter, or does it depend more on the medium itself? So if you want quite like a wishy-washy and quite delicate painting, use watercolour. If you want like pow, vibrant, use like oil or acrylic. And then if you can wait, use oil. If you're like not patient, like I'm not sometimes, to use acrylic. Yeah, so I hope that helps. Okay guys, so that's all the questions done. I hope you really enjoyed it, and thank you so much for sticking around for this long. You can check out my works I have for sale at this Etsy shop here, and I'll put the link in the description. If you have any more questions, just let me know and I will try my best to answer them. Thank you so much guys, and have a beautiful day. Bye!